This week, the Big Easy threw a big party, the first Mardi Gras in New Orleans since Hurricane Katrina. A time to celebrate the future and a time to reflect on the past. And in the thick of it, two Canadians, Raxlin and Skrip. They were caught in the storm, all alone in a disaster zone. Then a chance encounter with a local family that changed all their lives. Here's Lynn Robson with Out of the Storm.
New Orleans, the party town. New Orleans, the ruined city.
Horrible.
Streets full of rubble and empty of life. The green X, sign of another home inspected and deemed unfit, uninhabitable. This is the grim reality of New Orleans, and a little too real for Raxlin and Skrip.
Such devastation.
Last August, the two Toronto social workers arrived for what was supposed to be a week-long vacation. 2 days later, Hurricane Katrina turned its angry eye on New Orleans. The city hunkered down. Those who could got out of town. The highways were clogged, the airport closed, and suddenly, it was too late. Anyone left behind had no way out.
There were no trains, there were no rental cars, there were no buses. We were trapped. We could not get out of the city.
Hurricane Katrina tore its way along the Gulf Coast. Power lines were cut, food was running out. Hotel guests huddled in their rooms, keeping away from the windows and listening to the storm howl.
We were locked down in that hotel for a couple days. We had to sit in this ballroom full of hundreds of people and their cats and their dogs and their children, and people were smoking. It was just a little city in this one room of people.
And then, blessed silence. The city was in shreds, but it was safe again to go outside.
We thought, great, we survived the hurricane. You know, we did it. We walk outside and we're watching all the destruction. We're walking up and down the streets, and I can't even, the smell in the city, it was just pure broken trees, that smell of limbs or something. I don't even know how to explain it. There's glass everywhere.
They thought their problems were over. Then, 24 hours later, the levees protecting New Orleans broke. The nightmare scenario everyone feared came to pass, and panic was everywhere.
I just sat on the street and I thought to myself, what the heck are we gonna do?
At this point, I just kind of kicked it. I'm like, I can't just sit here. I can't just sit here. And I just remember I'm walking up and down the streets, just trying to find anybody.
I remember saying to Anna, we may have to run, we may get hurt, we may even have to swim.
500,000 people crammed into the city streets. In the old French Quarter, hotel staff scrambled to find tourists a way out. The Canadians were scared and desperate. Then, in the midst of the chaos, a simple act of kindness. What happened next determined not only how Robin and Anna escaped New Orleans, it also triggered a very special, very unlikely relationship between them and one New Orleans family. And it all started with the arrival of one battered-up green van.
It looked 100 years old. All of the windows were just blasted out of it, and there was glass everywhere.
No one recalls exactly how it happened, just that someone stepped in and put the women's luggage in the green van.
I don't even recall talking to these people at all. They just took our stuff, threw it in the back of this van.
It was just very, very quick, boom, 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 and we were in this van sitting with the kids.
I remember when they were throwing our stuff in the van, it's like, where is their stuff? They didn't have anything with them.
They won't know the difference because they're really from Canada, so we're gonna make them think that we had all the right things to use.
Right. Because they say they wanted to taste the New Orleans flavor.
The owners of that green van, the people who picked the Canadians off that New Orleans sidewalk that day, were Evelyn Derry and her family. There was Evelyn, her husband, their 4 kids, and Evelyn's mother. For just a second, Evelyn worried about taking in strangers.
And I didn't know who it was at first, so of course I'm like, well, I pray that these people are not going to try to hijack us or anything, you know.
In fact, the opposite happened. On that terrible ride from New Orleans to the only working airport 100 kilometers away, the Louisiana family and the frightened Canadians became friends. And now the friends are coming to visit.
That's why I told them that I wanted.
Call it a reunion of New Orleans evacuees. It's an event worthy of some good Southern cooking, Louisiana gumbo.
If my daughters were stranded out there like that, I would not have let them young ladies be out there and not know where they're going. Because I would want somebody to help my children.
It may have been nothing more than chance that brought them together, but the women see it as a turning point in their lives. Evelyn wants to show her friends how her life has changed post-Katrina. Robin and Anna want to see their friend and conquer a couple of ghosts conjured up since the hurricane.
I can't believe this van saved us.
I can't believe it's still
I
running.
can't believe this. And I just ran off. That's it.
Since Robin and Anna last rode in the van, the blasted out windows have been replaced and the debris of the hurricane cleaned up. But seeing the van, sitting in it, brings back painful memories for Robin.
How do you feel driving this van?
I feel good. It's been faithful to us. We still have it.
Because there's real significance with the van. You know, sitting in this van, it's very bizarre, freaking out a little.
It helps that beyond the windows is Shreveport, not New Orleans. Evelyn and her husband have new jobs, new lives, 5 hours away from the problems of New Orleans.
We're going to have fun, we're going to eat, we're going to enjoy each other, and you get to see the kids and my mom. Boy, we're going to have a ball.
I'm really looking forward to seeing your mom because your mom...
Dinner, too. I'm looking forward to some Southern cooking here.
Hey, girl. Hey, baby. Good to see you.
In a way, the Canadians simply cannot thank these people enough. They believe Evelyn's family saved them from disaster, perhaps even death.
Nice to see you. Oh my God, how are you? This is the purse that you're gonna wear with the shirt, okay?
So they bring gifts for the children, Canadian clothes, Canadian goodies, even some Canadian cash.
Brady can drink his coffee.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to put this on like this.
And there have been other, larger gifts from the grateful pair. When they returned to Canada, Robin and Anna wanted to help the family who had lost everything. They asked colleagues, friends, anyone who would listen, for money to send south.
That's it?
How are you, Renee?
And we want to thank the Canadian people for pulling together for that $5,000 because that was wonderful. That was tremendous. I mean, it helped us tremendously because before FEMA or anyone was able to help, the Canadian people pitched in.
And it didn't stop there. Robin wrote to an American TV show and couldn't believe her luck.
Saturday night, I'm going down to Anna's house and I get a phone call on my cell phone. And they're like, hi, is Robin there? I'm like, yes. She goes, this is Tamiko from the Dr. Phil show. And I went, it's happening, isn't it?
Thank you, thank you. Our entire audience today is filled with people affected by Hurricane Katrina, and I need to let them in on a little secret. This isn't just any old show, it's holiday giveaways!
The popular Dr. Phil treated Katrina victims to a trip to Hollywood and surprised them with a windfall of gifts, washers, dryers, watches, clothes, thousands of dollars worth of merchandise.
And we were just hugging each other and crying, and I mean, we cried and cried and cried and cried. It was like, oh my goodness, he's bringing something up. We just could, it was amazing.
And Evelyn from the Dr. Phil show.
The money and gifts have gone a long way to getting Evelyn's family back on their feet. Still, life since Katrina has not been easy. Evelyn shows them photos of her old New Orleans neighborhood. Evelyn's mother's house is completely destroyed, and not just the house. Her furniture, her appliances are now so contaminated with mold that nothing, not even the children's sports trophies, can be saved. A lifetime of memories lost.
Let's just say you were taken out of Canada and say you couldn't go back because it was torn up, it was torn apart. Doesn't feel good.
This is Evelyn's old home. She salvaged some old photos and nothing else. She will, she says, never return to live in New Orleans.
So they have no
But on this critical issue, the family's divided. Evelyn's mother, Gail, has a job waiting in New Orleans, but she hesitates to return to the mess in her hometown.
When I think about it, I get tired, Tom, because I want to be in New Orleans, but I'm stuck here. I lived there for all my years, and at 56 years old, well, I just made 57, I'm living in Shreveport, Louisiana. I didn't ask to move here.
Robin and Anna also have mixed feelings about returning to New Orleans, but they want to see how the cleanup is going and do their bit to help.
Through the experience of Katrina, we just felt so connected to the city that we had to come back. We had to do our part here. Coming back here and spending our money here, putting money back into the economy is what's going to help the city. This is a fabulous city.
They visit the hotel where they sat out the storm. It's especially hard on Anna.
For me, I think it's a ballroom. I don't know if I'll ever be able to sit in another ballroom again. There's just this horrible feeling of dread.
Here they and 600 others holed up for 3 days last August. The place stank, the toilets didn't flush, the heat was unbearable, and they were very afraid. Robin makes it into the room.
Yeah, I saw enough. Can you not go in for a second? No, I don't want to.
But it's too much for Anna. The miserable memory is too fresh. She hides from the camera and the flashback. And as if that weren't enough, they visit one of the destroyed and deserted neighborhoods. A third of New Orleans' homes look more or less like this. The homeowners tell them their stories and show them around. It's a depressing sight, but there are signs of new life.
I'm sad to see the devastation, but I'm happy that I came and I saw the people who have such faith and hope and that they are going to continue to rebuild even though everything is gone for them. I'm happy to see that everyone's going to be okay.
It's been an emotional trip for the Canadians. But the spirit of Mardi Gras is contagious. Now they can start the vacation they never had.
Robin, what are we doing?
The song is an homage to a city and the people who survived the storm, and to friendships that will live on.
We helped them, they helped us. Coming together at a time of, not thinking about, well, I'm American, you're Canadian, but we came together as people.
Finally, the old green van, a symbol of the worst day of their lives and the generosity of strangers, takes them to the airport one more time.
You kind of just used to doing your own thing and not having people care. So just seeing the opposite, people going out of their way to help you.
They have formed a bond no one expected, a friendship born in tragedy and nourished by kindness. For The National, I'm Lynn Robson in Shreveport, Louisiana.